Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com, as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A videos affiliate, ringsidenews.com. It is Survivor Series weekend. NoDQ.com has got you covered with the very latest regarding TakeOver, the Survivor Series pay-per-view itself, and the direction of WWE moving forward into 2017. Got your questions from twitter.com/AaronRift. First one today comes from Alex Suggs. Is AJ Styles versus Undertaker at Royal Rumble a good idea? Would Taker versus Cena at WrestleMania for the title be a fitting end to Undertaker's career? I have gotten quite a few questions about not only AJ Styles versus Undertaker, but Undertaker versus John Cena at WrestleMania. I think that if the plan is Undertaker versus John Cena, then it would make sense for Undertaker to have one last run as the WWE champion before he retires. He doesn't necessarily need it, but it would be a nice thing to do for Undertaker and his career, and since he doesn't have the streak anymore, it would add even more suspense to WrestleMania if the WWE title was on the line. I think Undertaker versus John Cena is the biggest match WWE can do without bringing in outsiders like a Conor McGregor, and I'll get to that in a few minutes here, talking about Conor McGregor. But I think in terms of just pure WWE superstars, I think Cena and Undertaker at WrestleMania is the biggest match WWE could possibly do. I think that it is definitely a possibility for this match to happen, and we'll have to see how things play out at Survivor Series. But Undertaker and Cena, there's not going to be more opportunities, in all likelihood, to do this match. I think it's going to be a matter of now or never. Undertaker and Cena was something that was rumored for last year's WrestleMania, actually earlier this year, this past WrestleMania, but then John Cena got hurt. So whatever plans there were, they went right out the window. I think you have both guys in a position to do the match. I say WWE should go for it. Have Undertaker beat AJ Styles for the title at Rumble, and then have John Cena challenge Undertaker at WrestleMania with the WWE title on the line, and let that be Undertaker's send-off. That's what I would do, at least. This one comes from Austin Allen. Do you think that Chris Jericho should be the WWE Universal Champion soon, or at least before he retires? It's the same kind of deal as Undertaker, where I feel Jericho doesn't really need it, but it would be a nice send-off for him, at least to have one more run. And his run has been doing so well right now that it makes sense in a way to have Jericho be the champion. I mean, if you were going to do it, now would seemingly be the time when he's arguably as hot as he's ever been. Jericho could potentially beat Kevin Owens and become Universal Champion, and then have Owens win it back. So at least Jericho could have one more reign. I mean, at this point, it's uncertain what Jericho's status is heading into 2017. He's got some stuff coming up with Fozzy. He has indicated in interviews that he would like to stay longer, and as long as it's working, he wants to stick around as long as possible. And as long as he's not wearing out his welcome, he's open to the idea of keeping a relationship going with WWE and remaining a regular character on television. I would love to see Jericho versus Owens at WrestleMania for the Universal title. I think that would be awesome. And it would be a nice slow build-up with this friendship between Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho, rather than rush it and just do that match at a throwaway pay-per-view. You could actually make a really big deal out of it and have it take place at WrestleMania. I would love to see it. So if there was ever a time for it to happen, I think coming up at WrestleMania would be the time. This one comes from Robert Hansen. Is it hypocritical that WWE is against bullying, yet they make fun of the way James Ellsworth looks every week? I could see some people being bothered by it, but to me, it's the heel characters that are mocking James Ellsworth, like JBL. And to me, that's fine. It's just part of the show. And you know James Ellsworth is having the time of his life. He's getting an opportunity I'm sure he never thought was possible. He's on WWE television every week. He's living the dream. And to me, it's okay to mock him if you're having the heels mock him and he's going along with it. He's playing a television character and it's the character being mocked, not the real person. I mean, you could look at it that way as well. I mean, I think people are overreacting a little bit if they think that it's a double standard. I don't really consider it bullying because it's part of fantasy and I'm sure James Ellsworth is cool with it. So, I mean, I really don't see it as that much of a negative. When you're using it as part of a storyline and everyone's making money, I mean, what's the big deal? I mean, when you have Vince McMahon dressing up like Jim Ross and mocking JR's Bell's palsy when JR is not on television and it's not part of a storyline, that is different. That is something I would consider bullying. But this is all part of the show, and everyone's making money, including James Ellsworth. This one comes from Melvin. What is your honest opinion on the brand split so far, and which things would you change? And he's a first-time asker, using the hashtag PAIV1. I think it's been fine. I mean, I did have some issues at the start with Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar appearing on the other shows, but overall, I think WWE's done a fine job. I still don't really buy into it a lot that these two brands are really feuding. And I think this Survivor Series pay-per-view, while it's been built up well and there's intrigue, I would have liked to have seen something on the line. It just doesn't feel like anything's really on the line. And, you know, going back to the Invasion storyline, it never really felt like ECW and WCW was a separate entity from the WWF, and it just didn't feel like it was a big deal like it should have been. Like with WCW and the NWO, you really felt for a long time like WCW was going to be destroyed by this outside group, the NWO, and I just never had that feeling with the Invasion. And with this brand split, you know, what are the consequences if SmackDown does really bad or Raw does really bad? I mean, it doesn't feel like the Monday Night Wars or anything close to it. So, I mean, it could definitely be done better. I think it's okay what they've been doing so far, but certainly there's a lot of room for improvement, no doubt. This one comes from Steve Becker. Do you think WWE's women's division would grow by having women doing more high-flying moves like the Cruiserweight division? Not necessarily. I mean, just like with the hardcore stuff, I mean, you don't really need to do it. Let the women do what they're good at, and with the current women in WWE, they are good at wrestling. Bayley, Sasha Banks, Charlotte, they are good wrestlers. Let them just go out there and wrestle and do their thing. And don't try too hard with them. Yes, you want to take advantage of this revolution and do some innovative stuff that we haven't seen before, but do they really need to be doing dives? I mean, as it is, guys doing dives and all the high-flying moves all the time, it just doesn't mean a lot because everyone's doing it in every single match. So for the women to do it as well, I mean, what's the point? What's the point in killing yourself when it's not really going to make that much of a difference? So I don't think it's necessary, to be honest with you. This one comes from Last Man Sitting. I know she cannot wrestle anymore, but do you think that Lita could still be a part of the Hardys WWE nostalgic run? Absolutely. If Matt and Jeff do come back to WWE for a final run, I mean, I would definitely have Lita come out with them and maybe manage them at WrestleMania. That would be incredible. I would definitely consider doing something like that. I mean, why not? Why not have Lita out there and be in the corner of Matt and Jeff at WrestleMania for a big nostalgic match? I mean, I would definitely say go for it. This one comes from Rogelio Gonzalez, and I'm sorry if I botched that. What are the chances that Conor McGregor faces Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 33? Unlikely. I mean, Conor McGregor still has a UFC contract, and the question is, would UFC allow Conor to work a WWE match? I doubt it. I mean, yes, WWE did allow Brock Lesnar to do the UFC fight, and I'm not sure if WWE's expecting something big in return, or if they have even worked out something with UFC. Maybe Ronda Rousey might be lended out to WWE for WrestleMania. Conor, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's going to happen in the near future, but one would think eventually Conor McGregor will be in a WWE ring in some capacity. But as far as him coming in and doing a match, especially a match against somebody like Brock Lesnar, I mean, I don't think UFC would go for that, just because they do not want to risk Conor getting hurt. And let's face it, Brock Lesnar, he's very physical with those suplexes, and the best highly trained WWE wrestlers are going in there with Brock Lesnar, and then you have Goldberg, but that's a whole other thing. But yeah, I mean, Conor McGregor taking all those suplexes. I mean, I think if Conor was lended to WWE by UFC, Conor would be very much protected and not taking a lot of crazy bumps. So Conor and Brock Lesnar in a WWE ring, I would say, is a long shot at best. This one comes from Dave Lesnar. Watched Raw for the first time properly in 2 years, and my God, Braun Strowman is a beast. Could you see him being a future world champion? Probably not. I mean, he has improved. I mean, I think he's been doing a lot better, and he's doing well in his role as the monster, but he's also been very protected by the booking, and I think as soon as there's a crack in that booking, people are going to lose interest in Strowman. I'm not sure if he'll be able to keep the momentum going when the booking team isn't 100% behind him. But time will tell. Anything's possible. If he keeps getting better, you never know. But right now, I would say it's unlikely that he'll be WWE World Champion. He might get a title shot at some point, but I don't see him winning the title. I think at best he'll be like Rusev. Maybe he'll get a run as the US champion or something like that. This one comes from AceMaker025. If Strowman continues to be built as a dominating monster, would you like to see Conor McGregor versus Strowman at WrestleMania? Again, would Conor be protected in that match? If Braun Strowman is a guy that WWE had enough confidence in to protect somebody like Conor McGregor, then I think it would be a possibility. I mean, you look back at like Big Show versus Floyd Mayweather. Say what you will about Big Show, a lot of people don't like him. He has his critics, but Show was a seasoned veteran by the time that match took place, and he was able to protect Floyd Mayweather and work that match out very well. A big man versus little man match, and they pulled it off. I mean, Big Show and Floyd Mayweather definitely pulled it off. So if you had the right guy against Conor McGregor that WWE knew Conor would be safe in the ring with, then, that would be a possibility. But is Braun Strowman that guy? I'm not sure at this point. Yes, he is getting better, but with WrestleMania only a couple months away, I would be surprised if WWE went with that. If Conor McGregor was available, I'm not sure they would go with Braun Strowman as the opponent. Not just for safety reasons, but also, is Strowman really a big enough star to put in there with Conor McGregor? I mean, I guess they could do it. It could be like a Lawrence Taylor, Bam Bam Bigelow type deal, but you would think WWE would want like a top guy in there against Conor McGregor. But then again, does WWE want one of their top stars losing to Conor McGregor? So, could be Braun Strowman. That might be a possibility. This one comes from Larbi Tarab. I apologize again if I pronounce the name wrong. I'm pretty bad with pronouncing these names just as a general rule, so I apologize if I butchered the name. Hey Aaron, if Rey Mysterio ever came back to WWE, would you book him as a cruiserweight? Not really. I mean, I'm trying to think about what I would do with Rey Mysterio if I brought him back to WWE. I'm not sure I would. If I was in charge, I mean, he had his run and it's over. If you bring him back I would probably bring him back for maybe one match. And who would I put him against? I mean, maybe somebody like a Seth Rollins. I would definitely want it to be a spectacle. So I would put him in there with like a Seth Rollins or a Sami Zayn, one of those guys. Probably not a cruiserweight like a TJ Perkins or Tony Nese or one of those guys. I would want Rey in there against one of the top superstars that could match up with him in the ring. I mean, I think Sami Zayn would be a perfect opponent for Rey Mysterio. If I was booking it, that's what I would go with. This one comes from Aaron Jones. If CM Punk was to return for WrestleMania, how would you book it and who would he face? Keep up the good work. I would put CM Punk in there with the absolute biggest star possible, and I would try to put him in there with somebody different. I mean, I would love to see CM Punk versus Kevin Owens. I think the promos back and forth would be awesome. I think the match would be really strong. I'd love to see CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, even though we had Punk feuding with The Shield. Punk and Rollins at WrestleMania would be awesome. Those would be my top two choices, I think, if I had to go with an opponent for CM Punk. I would like him to do something as fresh as possible against an opponent he did not face during his previous run, preferably. But, Seth Rollins would be a really good choice as well. But I think my number one pick would be Owens. That'll do it for this edition of No DQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. Again, next week will be a little bit different from the norm. I will be in Los Angeles, so the plan right now is to do one episode of No DQ&A video, a Thanksgiving special, and then I'll be doing No DQ Live on Facebook, which will also be posted on the YouTube channel. So be on the lookout for that Monday night, Tuesday night, and that'll be the schedule. I'll also be doing, of course, the post-Survivor Series video with Jeff Meacham, which will be up late Sunday night, early Monday morning, depending on your time zone. So look out for all that. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest. Please keep spreading the word about this channel, and I will see you guys next time for more.